Well, this morning, we are putting a spotlight on a local organization helping feed Portlanders in need. Each week, more than 4,000 meals are being handed out thanks to Meals on Us PDX. It's a BIPOC-led nonprofit helping anyone suffering from food insecurity.
And just a few months ago, the group started the Trans Meal Train. It's a program designed to help deliver meals to those recovering from gender-affirming surgery at no cost to them. And joining us in studio to talk more about Meals on Us PDX is Executive Director and co-founder Mark Guzman. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tell us about the organization. How did you form it and why?
So I started Meals on Us PDX out of my tiny kitchen in Gresham 3 years ago. Once the pandemic started and shut everything down, I was a food cart operator in Milwaukee, Oregon. And I was getting fatigued from selling food for a profit. I felt like we can do more as a community, as a people. And so we started by creating meals for hospital workers, specifically those on the front line. So what we would do is hit up, like for example, Providence, Portland, or other hospitals, and ask the nurses and medical staff, it's like, what can we do for you? You're doing so much for others. And so we started a meal train for the nurses and the doctors. And then eventually we pivoted to more of the houseless population, veterans, especially folks on the streets, people who have nowhere to go. I worked 65 hours a week at my job to save up money, and we finally got incorporated as a 501c3 nonprofit, started applying for grants. Went from myself to a team of 4 to a team of 10 now. We run and operate 2 commercial kitchens and in the Solomon's Gulch neighborhood.
Wow.
The whole idea on the Trans Meal Train program was in November, the Trans Day of Visibility, there was a really senseless murders that happened.
Right.
And so we had already had this program in place. We just needed a good date to start it. And you know, what better day than the Day of Visibility? Most of our staff are queer folks, or we respect each other's pronouns. We love and support each other. So what better way to create this program and create meals for people who really are being hurt for no reason, you know, because they want to live, the life that they choose, and they feel like they're not being heard or listened to or paid attention to. So this is our way of saying, hey, we see you, we hear you, and we love you.
Well, and anyone who has gone through any kind of surgery understands, you know, how difficult that can be in the days following, and to have someone show up with meals and say, we're here to take care of you, that means so much, I'm sure. What made you want to really reach out to the trans community in this way, and to focus on that time period as they're going through some gender-affirming care?
Well, the fact that we're creating meals for anyone, no questions asked, like we're already hitting a target demographic of like houseless folks on the street, folks who can't afford to cook dinner after having to work 2-3 jobs to pay the ever-increasing rent or mortgages. So in an effort to like not single anyone out, originally we're creating meals for everyone. But the trans folks specifically, after gender-affirming surgery, like, you're pretty much immobile for a while. You can't do anything. So the plan is to create a meal each day for their caretaker as well as for them, so that their caretaker doesn't have to worry about, I mean, they have hundreds of other things to worry about, like making sure the person who's recovering from surgery has everything that they need, mentally, emotionally, physically. And so that I'm sure the caretaker also has a lot of things to do. So this takes a little bit off their plate.
Sure.
Yeah, how are you supported now? I know you say you saved up money from your food cart experience in order to get this started.
Let me just say, it's been a struggle. I didn't pay myself for about 1.5 years of living off of like saved up money and asking my family for money. Shout out to my family, thank you so much for helping. But now everyone gets paid a living wage. We are actually hosting a fundraiser now for our operational pastors, which is since we rent the kitchens, there's a landlord, and so we have to pay anything that gets broken or upgrades throughout the year. And then at the end of next year, there's a big bill. Right now, we're trying to raise up to $25,000 to pay that off, and then whatever's left over can go fully into this program. And in June, we're actually going to have a large fundraiser for Pride Month to highlight the Trans Meal program, so that we can raise enough funds that we don't have to worry about these operational pass-throughs or rent or bills, et cetera.
It's a wonderful program, a great organization, and it's been wonderful to watch you grow and expand and the people you're able to help. So if you want to help Executive Director and co-founder of Meals on Us PDX, Mark Guzman, in this mission, you can find this interview on coin.com. Everything we discussed, just click on the AM Extra section of our website. You'll find a link there where you can donate and learn more.